got to do something about this bandwidth here.
Sorry.
I'm kidding. We've all had to up our bandwidth in our schools. Hi, I'm Marie Corfield. I'm an art teacher in the Flemington-Raritan School District. And this being Teacher Appreciation Week, the irony is not lost, at least by me. I stand before you today hardly feeling appreciated. While Commissioner Hesby may not waver one iota from his stance on park testing, this board has an obligation to do its homework to make informed decisions. I've testified many times, and I truly appreciate and respect the feedback that some board members have given me. I've spoken with some of you one-on-one, and you seem to express agreement that park is, well, just spell it backwards. But what I don't understand is the lack of substantive questions to the presenters at your meetings and the board's seeming inability to cast a no vote. Over the past few years, I have sat through meetings in shock as presenters have made outlandish and factually incorrect statements about everything from teacher evaluations to park testing to Common Core to state-controlled districts, while members of this board either don't challenge anything or throw out softball questions before voting in lockstep to approve. As someone who is now evaluated on the type of questions I pose to my students, I was pleasantly surprised at the amount and quality of questions asked about the principal evaluations at the board meeting this morning, and I want to see more of this. The votes cast by this board have a direct effect on every taxpayer in this state. The policies you approve have direct effect on every public school student in this state. I realize that you are appointed and therefore are answerable to no one except the governor, but your votes affect me and my students and the students and children of every person testifying here today. You must do your homework. You may not be on policymaking meetings, but you should be doing your own research. I realize that many of you have full-time jobs, but so do I, and so do many of the people here today. But we've all taken it upon ourselves to do our homework. We spend enormous amounts of time reading, writing, and discussing education policy and best practice. I want this board to do the same. We come here several times a year to share with you what Commissioner Hesby refuses to be allowed to share during the meetings. Park, Common Core, teacher evaluations, and the rest are based on junk science, and every education researcher worth their salt knows it and has come out publicly and said so. There is no dearth of information out there. And speaking of Park, it's not worth the paper it's written on nor the bandwidth it takes up. If anyone on this board thinks for 1 minute that it will magically do what it claims to, I've got a bridge to sell you. The video we saw this morning about teacher appreciation showed educators engaging students in all sorts of creative learning endeavors. That is real teaching and learning, not standardized testing. Sadly, as much as Commissioner Hesby continually denies the kind of student engagement that kind of student engagement is diminishing because of increased emphasis on park test prep. As I've said many times before, I urge this board to educate yourselves. There is no excuse, especially for those who are educators. There is a wealth of information out there from research educators all across this country, and we are fortunate to have 3 of the best here in New Jersey: the Education Law Center, Dr. Bruce Baker, and PhD candidate Mark Weber. From these resources, you will find many useful links to other education researchers and bloggers, some of whom are here today, including me, who really let the data tell the story instead of manipulating the data to tell the story that they want. If you arm yourselves with facts, there is absolutely no way you could ever approve park as a graduation requirement. To vote any other way would be a deliberate denial of reality. I know you are all appointed, and I know that one false move could bounce you on the curb. But how long can you continue to sacrifice one of the best public education systems in the country to keep a position where your hands are tied and your mouth is taped shut? No one ever made great change by sitting quietly. I urge you to stand up and speak out against this juggernaut that is destroying public education. Thank you.